Good morning, one more time. Evening for me here in Croatia. I'm so grateful that you are here. And I have so many things that I want to share with you. So let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to show you, just a little bit of outline. I'm just going to briefly tell you who am I, so you know who is speaking and who is sharing these amazing stories. What is actually MAP and how does it work, and how MAP can help with emotional and physical weight. I'm going to talk a little bit about the research that I did last year and what happened after the research. I'm going to share some of the stories as well. We will do a group map session. And then if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer that. And I will tell you what is next as well. So the first story, who am I? My name is Jelena. I'm coming from Croatia in Europe, and I have been doing this work for the last 10 years. For the last 8 years, I've been working for the MAP Coaching Institute, and it's been 7 years since I was certified. And since then, I became their head coach, MAP certification trainer, and I hosted numerous of workshops, researches, everything that you can imagine. I think I tested it out, and I'm really grateful to Colette and the Institute to support me during that journey. At the moment, I'm finishing my master's in psychology. I did several certifications around trauma with Dr. Bassel, with HeartMap. I'm certified in Avatar and a little more certifications. And I want to talk to you today about what is the connection between the emotional and physical weight and how you can support yourself during that journey. So we first maybe want to clarify, I know there's a lot of students here and mappers, and maybe you are aware of what MAP method is and how does it work. But just briefly, I want to share that MAP is relatively new method. It's really young, and it is based on the latest researches and neuroscience that shows that when a person remembers something, when there's a memory triggered, there's a phenomenon happening called window of reconsolidation. And because of the window of reconsolidation, we can train the brain to find and neutralize unconscious blocks and negative memories. And there's no cognitive process actually involved. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to know where it is coming from. You just breathe and passively observe what is happening in your mind and how it feels, and your superconscious is working for you. I want to tell you about the research that I did about the physical and emotional weight. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about it, how I was struggling my whole life with weight, with self image, and how I perceived myself. But in June 2022, I felt like I needed a breakthrough. And in terms of my weight journey, nothing was helped. No diet, no supplements, no exercising, nothing. Everything on a paper was perfect, but inside it was not. And a couple of my wonderful, beautiful clients, you're going to hear one of those stories a little bit later. She asked me if I could do some sessions with her because she would like to start releasing the physical weight. And I didn't know what to do because I never had that experience. I was struggling myself, and I was struggling. I couldn't imagine that I would help someone else struggling with the same thing. So we started to work on that, and I told her what was my experience with it. And we started to work on the emotional weight. And when I say the emotional weight, I mean emotions and traumas and beliefs and how we perceive ourselves, right? Everything that is coming within us. We never treated the body. And on my amazement, she started to lose weight. And then another client happened, and the story was the same. So a couple of those clients that I mentioned before started to release weight. And I was so inspired with their journey, how treating only the emotional root helped them release the physical weight. And I talked with the Institute, with Colette, who is always pushing me to move forward and to do researches and everything. I was explaining to her how when I did When the Body Says Yes, which is a program for autoimmune and chronic conditions, when we did that, I was noticing what is the connection between the body and mind. So logically, I said, well, if that's the case, then if we remove the emotional weight, the physical weight should follow as well. And that's how I did the research. First started in June 2022, and by the December 31st, the same year, I had more than 600 people participating in these research cycles. Each cycle was a 2-month cycle, and I did 3 rounds. There were people from all over the world, different backgrounds, different genders, different um, sexes, different races, people who experienced me out before, people who did not experience me out before. So it was everything. And we first started with the map subliminal. And the map subliminal is exactly that. A map subliminal, meaning that it is a session created for the purpose of the research for the emotional and physical weight, but it was done and put in the subliminal mode, meaning that a person could not hear me. And the reason why I did that is because from my research before, people were losing weight, people were experiencing breakthroughs just by listening to the subliminal. They would not hear my voice, but they would experience shifts. And that's how I started. The first round was with a map subliminal. And after that, I added more, and I added some of the group sessions and some of the recordings and some of the exercises, and results were amazing. There were two aspects that I wanted to cover in the research, and that's what I'm going to show you today, is that there's a connection between the body and mind. And when you were asking me your questions in the form, you were asking me what is the emotional weight, or what is the difference, what is the connection? Well, there are two aspects of emotional and physical weight, and the first one is body systems, meaning your body, your organs, your endocrines, and the whole flow that is happening in your body, right? The physical part of it. And then there's a second part, which are emotions and the mind, which is connected. And if you know anything about the inner work, if you know anything about the connection of the body and mind, then you know that body, emotions, and the mind, everything is working together. The first aspect that I want to talk to you about today is the body system. And one thing that I wanted to share today is stress. And there's a phenomenon, a cycle that is happening in our body when something stressful is happening. And it is called the generalized adaptation syndrome. And there are 3 phases of the syndrome. Usually what happens with people, they are looping from phase 1 to 2, and there's a cycle, which is a healthy cycle. So for example, phase 1, which is alarm reaction phase, is where your body is perceiving a stressor. And this is where the fight and flight mode is activated. Your heart is racing, you're sweating, you can feel the tension in your body, your hormones are activating, such as adrenaline, and you can really feel into that. So for example, today before the session, before this class, I felt a little bit nervous, so my sympathetic nervous system was activated. And now as I'm speaking about it, it's calming down, meaning that my parasympathetic nervous system is relaxed and my body is adapting to stress. I feel good. My hormone levels are being relaxed, and it feels like I'm safe and there's no more flight and flight mode. Actually, it feels rest and digest. But what happens to people who have been in stress for a really, really long time? What happens with them, they are stuck in the third stage and phase, which is called the stage of exhaustion. And the stage of exhaustion is happening when your body is so stressed, when you feel so triggered, when you feel so emotional, and you keep piling on that event after the event, experience after the experience, emotion after the emotion. You are stuck in that loop, and you are in a stage of exhaustion. And what is happening in that stage is that your body is overwhelmed. It's not functioning anymore. There is no this relationship between sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. There's no exchange anymore. There is no exchange from being stressful and in a fight and flight mode and then relaxing and being cool about whatever is happening. And what happens with us when we are so in the exhaustion phase is that our body cannot deal with the stresses anymore. And the body starts to release hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, and it's triggering other systems as well. Everything is overrunning because it cannot reset itself. And when you're in that mode for a really, really long time, there is a dysregulation that is happening. And you feel always on go. You feel like your whole system is activated. You are maybe experiencing fatigue and insomnia. You cannot sleep. Maybe there's a craving happening, and you start to soothe your emotions and those traumas with food. And what happens? You're gaining weight. And what happens? There are some diseases happening as well, like heart diseases, diseases around hormones, endocrine such as diabetes, insulin resistance, and some of the autoimmune conditions. And if you take a look at the second part, emotions and the mind, then you know logically there are five main senses in cancer, like Dr. Nashin is saying. Absolutely. So there are five main senses, and senses are enabling us to perceive everything around us. We are the emotional beings, right? And that's how we feel everything. That's how we are testing everything. And what happens with our brain is that every time when you experience something, your senses are picking up that. You are creating a specific experience. There are emotions being triggered. Your body is reacting in a certain way, and your brain is logging that in a specific record. And every time when you have that experience, when every time when the experience is being triggered with something similar, you create a pattern of experiences and senses and emotions and beliefs. And when you have that happening for a really long time, what happens is that you create your reality. You're stuck in that mode of not relaxing your nervous system. It is overworking. It doesn't know how to protect you anymore. It is releasing so many different hormones, like I said, such as adrenaline and cortisol. Your body is fighting with everything, and you are stuck in that loop. And that's what you can see on the next picture, is that a stressful event happens, a traumatic event, whatever you want to call it. There's an exchange in the body that is happening, and if it's broken because your body cannot regulate itself, your body and mind are suffering. Your body is fighting with everything inside, and of course your mind is suffering because it's emotional. It's painful to experience that, and you don't know what is happening with your body. It's not protecting you, even though it is. It's trying to protect you, but it doesn't know how to operate from that stressful events anymore. And this is where you are. You keep re-traumatizing yourself, your system, and you are in this never-ending loop. So that's how the emotional and physical weight are connected. Everything is connected. Our body, our mind, our emotions, everything of who we are. There's no separation. So when I started with the research that I mentioned, participants needed to fill out the form. And there was a question, what is it that you believe about yourself, or what would be the reason for you not to lose weight? And these are some of the beliefs, the most common ones. They listed obviously 600 people. There was a lot of answers, but these are the most common ones. And maybe you can think about if you resonate with any of them. I'm not worthy. And I'm not talking only about the weight part. I'm talking about your whole life experience of who you are. I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of good job, good business, good partner, good things to happen to me. I'm not enough. I don't deserve it. Or it is not safe for me to be this person. It's not safe for me to lose weight. There were so many participants who were emotionally, financially, physically, and sexually, they were abused during their childhood or adult life, and they simply didn't feel that it was safe for them to lose weight, to release that, because it was a protective mechanism for them. People who were convinced that they don't love themselves, no one loves them. No one is appreciating them of who they are. They're invisible. There were people who had a need to protect themselves because someone did something to them. There were people who felt like it doesn't belong to me. It's not mine to own it. I don't deserve it. Again, I'm not enough. I tried everything. So what is the point of making this effort? No one cares for me. No one understands. Or I didn't have enough food growing up. I didn't have enough love growing up. My core needs were not met when I was a child, and this is the only coping mechanism that you ever learned. So when you think about everything I shared on how we operate from the body, mind, and emotions and spirit, if you want to call it like that, and when you think about the what MAP can do for you and what is its purpose, and what was my intention for the research to help a person to release emotional weight and then to learn if the physical body release the weight as well. This is how MAP can help someone release emotional physical weight. And there's no time limit. Someone is asking in the chat, can this be applied to young children? Yes, to anyone. There's no limit in terms of who can be part of a MAP process. So in terms of MAP is healing and neutralizing any traumas, experiences, beliefs, emotions from conception until now. And if you resonate with that, it is also helping with generational or ancestral traumas. We have been doing the ancestral sessions for the last 7, 8 weeks, and results that people were having are out of this world. It's really amazing what you can do when you treat something and heal something that doesn't even belong to you, right? MAP is also helping to heal unmet core needs. I was not accepted as a child. I was not loved and taken care of. Those are all core needs that we have as children. And if those needs are not met, we manifest that in the adult life, and that's how we operate. MAP can also teach your part of you to heal their disempowering and protective identities so they can choose another more supportive one. So during the process, we're teaching part of you that is trying to protect you not to experience that emotional pain anymore, so they don't have to do that anymore. We are teaching them another identities. Another thing that MAP can do, and maybe that's one of the most painful experiences for someone to admit, I know it was for me, is that MAP is actually teaching you to take the responsibility for your current life so you can create consciously. And that's scary, to take the responsibility for who you are at this specific moment, and to take responsibility for your actions. And at the end, cherry on the cake, if you want, MAP is teaching you that you can always start from fresh, and that you can choose who you want to be and how to make it happen. So MAP session doesn't necessarily have to be oriented on clearing traumas and negative and painful experiences. It can also help you to create something. That's what we have been doing for the last couple of years for the weight program. We've been combining the clearing sessions with the goal-oriented sessions, and results are so amazing. And I know that this is why you're here. You don't really care, me to talk about the science. This is something maybe that you can, or maybe you do care. I appreciate it. Anyways, this is something that you can all find online. There's so many researches that are confirming the relation between the body and the mind, and what happens when we are under the stress, what happens when we have PTSD, what happens when we are traumatized, what happens with the body when all those emotions are not being processed. So during the research, I do care. Thank you. During the research, I never, ever, ever expected results that people had. First of all, people had amazing breakthroughs in terms of their boundaries of who they are, who they want to be, how the past doesn't have to define them, that they can break through from those cycles of who someone told them that they are. They can break through from that. And if you would allow me, I want to share a couple of stories. And I'm so grateful that they were really comfortable and open for me to share this, as I know how vulnerable they must feel. So this is Luisa, and you can maybe tell me in the chat when I start with the video if you can hear it. I think it should be fine. But here's her short story. She was the client who was asking me to give her some private sessions so she can release the weight, and I didn't know what to do because I was struggling as well. So she was the one inspiring me to do this process, to do the research, and this is what led me to be here with you today. So please take a moment and hear Luisa's story.
Hi everyone, how are you? My name is Luisa. I wanted to record this testimonial for Jelena. I have been a part of her weight loss program and it has been incredible, amazing. I started this back in May, I want to say, and in total since May I have lost about 20 pounds. The first couple of weeks, actually no, May and June I lost 10 pounds and then I kept it off for a while, and then I started up again a couple of months ago and I lost another 10 pounds. And what there is to say about the program is just the ease of it and how easy it is to listen to subliminals. That's all you're doing, you're listening to subliminals. I usually would do it when I would get on the treadmill, but it has been just a very easy process. I've also been doing it with intermittent fasting. So I start my meals at 10 a.m. and I finish at 5:30 p.m. and I have no food after that during the week. And then on the weekends, I would go out to eat at least once with my, with friends or family. But yeah, if anybody is reluctant or is thinking about joining the program, you have nothing to lose. It is the easiest thing. You're just listening to subliminals. You're clearing past emotions, past beliefs about weight loss, even body image. And before you know it, things, eating, getting dressed, losing weight, exercising, and really changing your lifestyle becomes way easier. So thank you, Jelena, and I wish you guys the best.
So Luisa's story, like I said, inspired me to do this research, and stories were out of this world. Like, I couldn't believe it, and I needed to prove because I'm super skeptical. So I wanted to share my story with you. And the reason why I'm doing this, I never ever share my stories because I don't think they're relevant, right? And I don't feel like I want to sell you myself. I don't do that. I want my work to speak for itself and other people. But there was a question a couple of them in the forum when I was asking, do you have any questions for me that you would like me to answer during the workshop? And there were a couple of people saying, well, you look thin, and give us the real proof of what worked for people. Like, you're thin and you don't understand how it feels to struggle with weight. And that's the reason why I'm sharing this with you today. So this is my picture in July 2021. And I don't have a lot of pictures from that period, as you can see how I look. And to add on that, about 8 years ago, I had a car accident in my 20s. And my body developed a condition that is called cervical dystonia torticollis, meaning that one side of my neck and my body is shortened, muscles are shortened. There's a lot of spasm happening, and that means that my body is not in the balance. My head is a little bit tilted on the right side, and as you can imagine, I was in pain 24/7, and that completely broke the self-image I already had about myself, which was already broken. And on top of that, I gained so much weight. So in these two pictures that I'm showing you, and no, this is not my child. This is not my heaviest. This is about 20 kilograms less than my heaviest. As you can imagine, I didn't want to take any pictures at that time. In less than 6 months from this picture, I gained about 20 kilograms and nothing was helping. And in January 2022, my mom ended up in a hospital. And you're going to forgive me if I become emotional. My mom was my best friend, my person who was always cheering for me, and seeing her being broken in a hospital, in a bed, not moving, on a ventilator, reminding me on all the traumas that I suffered when I had a car accident and what I experienced during that medical treatments and everything that I needed to handle within the system. And at that point, I was working for the Institute. I was seeing clients in the morning. I would teach in the evenings, and then we will all come to see my father, who lives 2 minutes from me, and we would just eat something together. And that was it. That was my only meal for almost 3 months, where my mom spent in a hospital. And so that's logically a calorie deficit, right? And I gained 20 kilograms. And my mom unfortunately died in March 2022. And I don't even know how to explain how I felt. You can imagine when you lose someone who is your everything. We were super close and I missed her so much. That was really traumatizing for me. But her story reminded me that I need to do something because I'm going to end up as her. She was from a line of women in my family where you need to suffer and when you need to work 2 and 3 jobs, and when you need to be strong and when you are taking care of everything and everyone besides yourself. And her story became my story. I became a therapist, right? And I was seeing people for sessions and I was creating these researches and these programs and everything, but I sucked in self-care. And in March 2022, when mom died, I was nearly 100 kilograms. And I'm really short, like 5.2, like not really high. So you can imagine how that looked. So on these pictures, these two pictures, I had 20 more kilograms. And I was hiding myself because I felt so embarrassed because my body was already all crooked and in pain. And having 100 kilograms is not something that I wanted. And I went to see a doctor and I did all the hormone panels and everything that I wanted to, check. And I was suffering with chronic fatigue. I was not sleeping. I was not functioning. I couldn't do anything. When I go back now 2 years ago, I don't even know how I lived. I felt like I didn't live at all. I was just dragging around the house. I would do what I needed to do for work, and then I would go back to bed because I simply did not have the energy for anything. And my hormone panel and blood test showed that I was in a heavy hormonal disbalance, that my blood tests were not good, completely down with all the minerals and vitamins and everything. On top of that, insulin resistance. And a doctor put me on Ozempic. I think you heard about it. It's a magic injection that you can hear a lot now. And it didn't help at all. And I started to see a nutritionist. She added me some supplements, and that was helping for a while. And then I hit a plateau. And then I started with the research. Ozempic is for reducing hunger. Yes, for me, it didn't work because I was not hungry. I was eating once per day, and I tried all the different diets. I did the autoimmune protocol. I removed all the gluten and dairy. Nothing was helping. All the inflammation or food, nothing was helping. I did keto, not helping. I was counting calories, not helping. I was fasting, not helping. I signed up for a couple of fitness programs, not helping. So I knew it. That's it. It is time for you to do your inner work. My body was so in constant fight and flight mode. And sometimes I feel that that's my body since I was born. And I know I need to do something. And like I said at the beginning, I'm super, super, super skeptical about everything that I do, right? I need a proof. And that's why I'm showing you these pictures. And I wanted to show my after because you just saw me maybe briefly at the beginning of the workshop and I'm sitting. So I took a picture just before this workshop. And this is me today. This is me about 25 kilograms less. And I know that we are here talking about the weight, and most of you want to release the physical weight because that's something that you can see. But I released so much of the emotional weight that I couldn't believe. So many things were hurtful for me that I needed to release. I was grown up in a family with three brothers. I was the only girl child, and that was bringing a lot of responsibilities. And sometimes I feel like I never had a childhood, and I was growing up in the middle of the war here in Croatia when Yugoslavia was splitting. And growing up in a poor family with not knowing, because no one, taught me how to express emotions, how to process them, was just building one thing after the other, one thing after the other. And remember the cycle that I showed you, that was my life. And this is me today. I am about 25 kilogram down, and I have my goal, and I've been the strongest that I ever been, mentally, physically, emotionally. I went back to school. I was a dropout student. I went back to school, and now I'm finishing my degree in psychology, master's in psychology, with the grade, if it's matter to you, at the moment 9.36 out of 10. And I'm working full time for the institute and have my own practice. And I'm married with the most wonderful person in the world, and I have a dog. So the reason why I'm sharing you this is that I know how it feels. That's how I was reacting when I would see all those stories from people on Instagram and Facebook. I know how you feel and all that. And I would be like, no, you do not. You look perfect. Look at your body. Look at your house. Look at your husband. Look at this, and that. You don't know how I feel. And that's the reason why I wanted to show you for these two pictures and a little bit about me, because I know this is something that so many people are going through and you feel like no one understands. And you will get an email after the workshop to rewatch the recording, to do some things that I want to give to you. But there will also be a page where you will see all the testimonials from people who are part of the research and the program, and some stories are so amazing and so crazy. Um, uh, like every kilogram was like a huge win. We had a private Telegram group, and everyone would share, and we would all cheer, and it was so amazing to be part of that story. It's really, really amazing how people were losing. I don't want to say losing, people were releasing whatever was not belonging to them anymore and whatever they did not consciously become. And this next story, my heart is full and I'm going to cry. Is this from a wonderful, wonderful person that I met by accident? She was part of the coaching program. She ended up in my research. She didn't end up in the program afterwards. And she's my student now certification program, and I'm so, so happy for that. And she's here with you today, and she wants to share her story. So I'm going to stop with sharing, and I'm going to pin her beautiful, beautiful um, head so she can share. So Vasema, if you want to share with us, could you please unmute yourself and go ahead? Thank you.
Hello, hello. I'm just going to close the chat so I don't get distracted. Okay, my name is Wasima. I'm from South Africa. Yeah, and I'm just excited to share my story with everyone today. I think I discovered the weight loss research. I had just joined the MAP coaching program, and Jelena had posted about the research, and I was like, I have pretty much struggled with weight my entire life, and I've done every single fad diet and lost a bit of weight and then regained it and lost and regained it, and had that whole sad story of having to throw away all of my new exciting clothes and yeah, all of those good things. So I was like, why not? Let's hop on, let's see if this works. And at that point, I was so early on in my journey with MAP that I didn't really know. I didn't have much of any information about how MAP and this weight loss research was going to affect me. And Jelena mentioned that we had this WhatsApp group and the Telegram group, and I was on it every day and listening to the subliminals and just wasn't losing weight. I think I lost a little bit of weight in the beginning, maybe in the very early stages, and I just regained it. I was struggling with binge eating at the time. This was obviously like just in the midst of the pandemic, so a lot of us were like isolated. I was particularly isolated in that I moved really far away. I was dealing with a breakup and had like a heartbreak in terms of family betrayal. So I was just like packing cushioning around myself to protect myself. I think at the point that I started, I wasn't even cooking for myself. I was ordering takeout every day. I was like punishing myself with food because I was just so getting emotional. I was just, yeah, really not in a good place. And we continued with the first round of the research, which I think it was 2 months. And I felt a little bit better. I will say I was looking and feeling towards myself a bit better, right? I think I maybe cooked myself 1 or 2 meals in that time. And the binge eating was like it was becoming more infrequent, or there were big spaces in between. But I was still struggling, and everybody was posting about their weight loss, and I was feeling quite demotivated, but I carried on. And at the end, I I was 100 kilograms at that point, which was like insane for me because I'm 154 centimeters, which is like 5'1". So it was even. Um, so I did another round because I'd released quite a bit of the emotional stuff, and I was like, okay, cool. The next round of the research is really going to be super helpful, and now that I've done all of the emotional stuff, it's just I'm just gonna release all the weight. And we did the 2 months, and I was very diligent, and I did the subliminals, and we did the group sessions. And at the end of that, I had gained weight. So you can just imagine, I was like devastated. My mental state was so much better. My emotional state was a lot better. I was manifesting like crazy, amazing things in my life, but I was like really unhappy with the physicality. And so I think think it was like the beginning of December 2022, and I was 103 kilograms. And I was like, look, Jelena, I'm not going to carry on with another round of the research. Maybe I'm just not the type of person that this works for. I'm just going to move on. And I kind of carried on with my life, and I was still part of the, the coaching program and continuing on and trying to make healthy choices. And next thing I knew, it was November of last year, and I'd signed up for the map coaching certification. And Jelena and I had started talking again, and I realized, I looked back and I was like, I literally weigh 16 kilograms less than I did the last time we spoke. And I did it relatively effortlessly. It's so funny that earlier on there was a slide about like personal responsibility, and I don't think I'd ever really had that when it came to my weight. I was always sort of handing my power over to the Atkins diet or to the injection diet or, whatever it was, keto even. Um, and it never really dawned on me that if I wanted to make any sort of changes, I was going to have to get like really strong within myself to make these small, small but measurable changes in my life. And again, another funny story is that maybe a month after that, my cousin reached out to me because she got a connection with Ozempic. And she was like, well, I know that, you like to follow these things, and I know that you struggle with your weight. So if you want to give it a shot. And my first response was, thanks, but I'm actually really enjoying the process of like not struggling, but like taking these tiny little steps to get to where I want to be. So yeah, I feel like, and again, I didn't join the program afterwards. This was like from 4 months of just doing subliminals and, adding more water, adding a couple more steps every day. Like I'm 4 months of this time, I was also traveling, and like I wasn't counting my calories. I was eating like Mexican food and very exotic food. Like I was really like enjoying my life fully without like being very restrictive because I was away. And even in that time, I'd still just been able, the weight was just falling off of me in the most natural way, just because I was prioritizing self-love, self-care. And now that I'm back home in Cape Town, I cook for myself every day. I'm able to take my dog on walks. I have like a little upstairs place, so I have to run up the stairs, and I have the energy to do that. And I'm not like out of breath by the time I get to my office. It's been so, so, so life-changing for me. And I feel like for the first time, I feel so like when I responded to my cousin about, no thanks about the Ozempic was just so empowering, because I was like, I absolutely don't want to do any fad thing ever again, because it feels so good to have the confidence in myself that like, yeah, I know that I'm not yet at my goal weight, but I know that I'm going to get there, because now that I have the intention to really release it, and I didn't, I was just sort of letting anything happen before. It's like it's inevitable. So I'm so grateful. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to share my story, and I hope it inspires, somebody to consider this program, because it's been just life-changing for real. So yeah, thank you for listening.
Yeah, she's so beautiful and radiant. And we're just going to add, since I'm revamping the original version of the program, I gave access to Batsema and other participants of the program access to the daily group sessions that we do. Like we do clearing sessions or goal-oriented sessions. So every day at 7 a.m. in the morning, we join Zoom. There's no camera, no sharing. I'm just doing a session. And the whole group, including me, started to release again weight. And that was so, so powerful and so amazing. And the only thing that we're doing is actually releasing the emotional weight. Yeah, she's awesome. She's so beautiful, and I'm so happy that she's with us. So thank you, Vasema, so much for your story, and thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for listening. Okay, so let's go back. So the next thing that is going to happen is we're going to have a 5-minute break, and we're going to have a session. So I'm just going to give you maybe a couple of minutes to find a place where you feel comfortable. You can use your headphones if you feel like you need them. You can maybe reflect on why you're here. You want to take a piece of paper or a journal that you want to journal during the session, is perfectly fine. I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes to go back into space, to ground yourself a little bit before the session starts, and then we will share the video, the brain training, because there's some new people here who never experienced the session. So we're going to play that video before we start. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have in the chat while others are adjusting. Or if you need to go to toilet, you can do that as well. And there was some amazing questions that I noticed. And thank you everyone for your condolences. I really appreciate it. What percentage of your participants lost weight? I don't know, because we didn't do research in a setting that any results in numbers would be credible. So we didn't want to do that at all. Can you clear something like codependency? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, one more minute and then we will start with our session. Anna, would you tell me what TBI is? Traumatic brain injury. Okay, thank you for that. The first thing is to check with your doctor. Is it okay for you to do the any kind of emotional work, any kind of therapeutic work? And then if you have a green light, then see with MAP and see how it works for you. Maybe you can see how it works for you now during the session. You're welcome. Okay, so let's get started. I know there's a lot of students and mappers here and people who already experienced the session either in Colette's workshop or somewhere. I just want to make sure that everyone who didn't have that experience, that their mind is being primed for the session. So I'm just going to play this video. If you never had the map session, please watch this video. Thank you.
In this first drawing, you see an iceberg. We're using it as a metaphor representing the conscious and unconscious mind. Notice that the unconscious mind is under the water, and it's also many times larger than the conscious mind. You can see ice fragments in the iceberg. In our metaphor, these fragments represent different aspects of your personality or different parts of you. Perhaps there's an aspect of you that desires success, and another part of you that's afraid of success. These different aspects of our personality can create inner conflict and keep us stuck. Now we've added the superconscious mind, an aspect of consciousness that can neutralize stressful or painful memories and beliefs on instruction. Now, in this drawing, you see a timeline from conception until now. Your superconscious mind has been present since conception and has learned the same language as you and those around you speak. This allows us to communicate easily using everyday language. However, since this aspect of consciousness learns language without any sensory experience or emotion attached to it, it's not affected or harmed by stressful or painful experiences. There's 3 types of memory. Memory 1 develops while the fetus is still in the womb. This memory consists of simple neurostructures or basic connections that are being created at that time. Memory 2 begins to develop a little bit before birth and keeps developing until the age of 4. Healthy and unhealthy core traits of the personality are formed in this memory. These traits are learned from our parents, siblings, and other influential people in our life. Memory 3 starts to develop shortly before birth and continues until now. We start learning in the womb and continue learning all of our lives. Memories that are used to create the main personality are selected from memory 3. And learning is, in fact, the creation of memories. A collage of learned memories runs our emotions, behaviors, and our thoughts. Now let's have a closer look at memory 3. Memory 3 contains active memories and dormant memories. Active memories are used to create our perception, our behavior, and our thoughts. They dictate how we interpret and react to the world around us. Dormant or inactive memories are all the memories you have when you're not thinking about them. Most memories you have are dormant. Now let me give you an example of a dormant memory. I'm going to ask you a question. Notice that since I didn't ask you the question, you don't know what the answer is. In other words, the answer or dormant memory was not triggered. Now, how about if I ask you, when was the last time you rode your bike? Notice that you start to scan memory 3 and the answer gets triggered into your awareness by the question. So you can see that when we trigger a dormant memory, it pops into our active experience. Dormant memories can be awakened or triggered into activity by what we see, hear, feel, taste, smell, perceive, and by other basic needs, such as hunger, love, and safety. This is important to know because sometimes we have to wake up or activate dormant memories for the superconscious mind to neutralize the stress attached to the memory. The superconscious cannot see or treat dormant memories if there's not at least a small amount in the active experience. Now, please note the dividing line, which is being labeled the dissociation process. It's the line between the conscious and the unconscious mind. Its job is to dissociate information that's not needed in the conscious mind by moving it into the unconscious mind. It remains available, so it's still active and contributing to the creation of behaviors, but it's no longer conscious. Some dissociated behaviors are skills, like driving, for example. After driving for a while, you're not aware of your movements and decisions. It's an unconscious competence and you're on automatic. So the dissociation process helps simplify the content and emotion of our conscious mind, allowing us to be better focused and more effective in our lives. Next, the association process is found at the border of the iceberg as seen here. When there's a situation calling for a new behavior or response, it's the association process that allows only the most fitting memories to be triggered into the active experience. If it lets memories in too easily, we might find ourselves distracted by irrelevant thoughts or having a hard time focusing on a task. The superconscious mind can fine-tune the association process to help keep you focused on your goals. In order to neutralize stressful or painful memories, we simply activate a memory or event associated with it and instruct the superconscious mind to neutralize the emotion at a rate that's safe and comfortable, neutralizing some emotion, and then letting the system settle before neutralizing some more. This is how the superconscious mind will do it, so the results are gentle, fast, safe, and long-lasting. You've now completed part 1 of the MAP method brain training.
Today's session, I was thinking on what to offer you And since we already have, you will have access to those sessions for free, the biggest challenge regarding my weight, I wanted to maybe explore a little bit with you today. Why do you want to release emotional and or physical weight? So if I could ask all of you to put everything on the side and to go into a space, and if it feels comfortable, you can close your eyes and then we will start with the session. Thank you. And let's all take a nice deep breath. And as you breathe in and as you breathe out, you can focus on the top of your head. Scan your entire body until you can notice your feet and your toes. And as you continue to breathe and as you think about why do I want to release emotional and physical weight, you might want to ask yourself why you're here. What is it that you are looking to resolve and let go of? You might want to ask yourself what kind of a patterns and behaviors that not serve you anymore. And as you continue to clarify your intention for today's session, with your permission, I'm going to align your parts. Thank you. Subconscious, before we start with today's session, please put all of the parts in line so we can treat them one by one. Subconscious, please use the awakening scripts, all of the parts get to be informed about the dreamer process. In this or any other lifetime, any other parallel life or generation. And when you have the knowledge and understanding on how to treat a painful or emotional memory, please again treat all of the parts and memory structures, then one treatment that you done from the last session until now. Slowly, safely, and with all respect. Keep on breathing and keep noticing what is coming up for you. When you think about why would you want to release weight, either emotional or physical, what is the first emotional response that you can recognize? What is coming through your mind and how it feels in your body? And then just observe. And subconscious, please fully treat this experience. And then please treat all of the triggered parts, predispositions, beliefs, emotions, and everything else that is coming into the active experience right now. Conscious, please continue to treat all of the associations in the past, present, and future. And whenever appropriate, do a massive change, history, and everything after that. Just keep on breathing and keep noticing whatever is coming up for you right now. And if your mind wanders around, that's okay. Just follow that thread. And let's go a little bit deeper. What emotions or experiences are tied to the way that you are eager to release? What is the first thing that comes into your mind? And subconscious, please treat these experiences and then please treat all of the emotional and content memories associated with into it. And let's go even deeper. If you think about your emotional and physical weight, have you tried releasing that in the past? And if you did, what were the outcomes and how do you feel about that? And subconscious, please treat all of the related experiences, all of the I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough. You feel stuck, it's not working for me. And whenever appropriate, replace all of the treated memories with positive, self-empowering beliefs, emotions, and experiences. You can do a massive change, history, and everything after that. Thank you. Subconscious, before we move forward, please copy the memories and diagnose what's blocking the treatment and communication process. Once you resolve that, please treat all of the barriers and then do a massive change, history, and everything after that. Just keep on breathing and noticing whatever is present for you. Let's go even deeper. I want to invite you to ask yourself, what do I believe about my weight release journey? Do I feel stuck or frustrated or unmotivated or something else? And then think about why you are experiencing this. What would be the reason for you to be stuck with this weight? And maybe nothing is helping, or it helps for a short time and then it goes back to the old patterns. And superconscious, please fully treat this experience, and then please treat the most dominant belief and disempower it until it's false. Superconscious, please do a structure of associations on all the like beliefs and memories. Whenever appropriate, do a massive change history and everything after that. Subconscious, if needed, please put all of the fragile, resistant, and young parts into the observing mode for them to decide when and how to join us today. Whenever they feel ready to communicate and join the treatment team, please offer them a warm blanket and then treat them fully, most perfect order with all respect, and reinforce their positive coping behaviors before joining them with the main personality. Please keep on treating each associated trauma and structure of emotions so you can do a massive change history and everything after that. And don't forget to breathe and keep observing what is happening in your mind and your body and how that feels. If you take a look at your emotional and physical weight journey, everything you experienced so far in your life, what would be the opposite that you want to create? If you could choose and if you could put something on a piece of paper, what would that be? What do you want to experience? And subconscious, please treat this creation and then please treat any fears and doubts, all of the heart memories, and replace them with love and peace. Keep asking yourself, what is it that I want to create? And if I were to release all this emotional and physical weight, what would that give me? How would my life change? What people and possibilities you would invite in your life? And how would that make you feel? Try to expand in your creation as much as you can, even though if it doesn't feel reachable. And subconscious, one more time, treat this creation. And then please treat everything that is not clear, focused, and joyful expression of self. Keep treating all of the disempowering beliefs and memories, everything that doesn't belong to us that we did not consciously agree on. Keep asking yourself, what is it that I want to create? And what would that give me if I were to release all of this weight? What would that give me and how would my life change? What would I do with my life? What kind of an impact would that do on your relationship with yourself but others as well? And subconscious, one more time, treat this creation and then use your knowledge, your understanding, and all of the available resources to fully reinforce all of the heart's desires until the main personality can see that as its your reality. Whenever appropriate, to a massive change, history, and everything after that. And take a nice deep breath and reassess on how you feel. Notice what emotions are present and how does that feel in your body. And subconscious, please treat this experience, any mismatches between what we did and the creation. Treat all of the parts, dispositions, fields, and structures, disassociate them from the main personality so you can treat them again. And just please continue to treat all of the beliefs, emotions, and experiences, everything that is standing between you, your higher self, and who you truly are. And then do a massive change history and everything after that. I'm going to gently wrap this session for today. Just keep on breathing, keep on exploring what insights you had during today's session and what you experienced, all the emotions and responses within your body. Then you might want to focus on your creation. I'm going to ask your superconscious to continue to treat whatever is relevant for today's session and to keep reinforcing your creation until you can see that as your new reality. And subconscious, please do a massive change history and everything as needed, including memories 1, 2, and 3, and any other memory in any other systems, including ego states, tandem memories, shadow memories, in all levels of their physiology. Subconscious, please keep on treating all of the energy, body systems, all of the cellular memories, DNA, past lives, parallel lives, future lives, family history, and all dimensions of consciousness. Subconscious, please ground all of the memories we've touched today and reconnect them into the matrix of the universe. Between now and the next session, please continue to tag and treat any negative and disempowering memory so you can replace and reinforce them with positive, self-empowering memories in their place. And take a nice deep breath. And as you breathe in and as you breathe out, you can focus on your body and notice where you are in space and time. Whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes and come back. Thank you. And if anyone wants to share their experience in the chat, you can do that. Incredible. Wonderful. Monica, do I remember correctly that this was your first session? There you go. Thank you so much for trusting me to be here. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. And this was just a short 20-minute group session. Imagine what can be done with other sessions and subliminal. Yes, it is. You're welcome. This was last. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Related to worthiness and connection, yes. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm wondering, does anyone have any questions that you might want to put in the chat? And maybe before you go, thank you everyone for sharing. This is what's going to happen next. You're going to receive an email with the workshop recording, and you will also have the opportunity to sign up for the program for 7 days for free. There's no credit card needed, no subscription, nothing. And I really want you to give yourself a chance to test it out, to see how you feel. And it's not really likely that you would lose weight in 7 days, but you will definitely feel the difference in terms of the emotional weight. So look for the email with all the details. Oh wow. Thank you everyone for being vulnerable and sharing. There's really no right or wrong answer back. Like you can use it every day if it feels good. Some people use it a couple of times per day. Some people use it maybe once or twice per week because it is more than enough for them. So every person has to test it out for themselves. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Ah, there you go. Thank you, Anna, for sharing that. Wonderful. Yeah, the body and the mind are connected. And when we release emotionally, the body is also changing and experiencing that. Yes. Yes, subliminal recording will be available in the 7-day preview. Yes. You'll find about it pretty soon. As soon as you're done, I'm going to upload the recording and send everything to you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions that you want to maybe ask before we go? In case I didn't answer something, there's my email here at the end of the page. It's Jelena, monkeymapcoachinginstitute.com, and just email me. And if I'm not sleeping since I'm in Europe, I'll be happy to help you out. Oh, Laura, that's really kind of you. Yeah, email me, and as soon as I'm up, I'll answer. Thank you. Imagine that amount that the nature is also following. Yeah. Send some snow in Croatia. We don't have it a lot. You're welcome. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really, really appreciate it. Look for the email, test the program. It doesn't cost you anything. There's no credit card. It's a little bit of your time, and there's really nothing to lose, a lot to gain. Thank you so much for the bottom of my heart for being here, listening to everything that I wanted to share, all the amazing, amazing stories, mine included. Thank you for being so wonderful, for being part of the session, and I wish you nothing but the best. Bye, everyone.